right. Hello, hello, warm welcome. Thank you so much for being part of our show today. Thank you for being part of our class today. Just one more minute while I get everything warmed up for fall. Happy fall, everybody. Thank you so much for being part of our Genius community. We got a great action-packed classes and events for the fall time, for the holiday. Now, today, we're going to be talking all about digestion. So you can go to geniusbiofeedback.com and you can go ahead and find this digestive wellness thumbnail, and you can get the link for the digestive mastery guide, the information on digestion, which we're going to talk about today. And you can also find the Beat the Bloat ebook. There's an ebook that talks about some things that you can utilize on your Genius in order to deal with bloating and digestive issues. So we have an ebook for you that you can download, and you can also, all right, let's go and adjust this a little bit. It's Monday, right? Okay, so a warm welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. Let's go ahead and record this as well. Okay, hello and good morning and welcome to your week with the Genius. A couple of things to talk about. First of all, we have our events page. So make sure you go to Genius Biofeedback events on a regular basis, and you can check out our weekly events. The couple that I want to talk about today, there's no podcast for this week, but we are going to have our podcast coming up on October 13th, the resumption of our podcast with Dr. Robert O. Young. So make sure you register now for the podcast so you can be reminded early for the 13th. We may have some guests before then. Tomorrow morning, those of you who are interested in our practitioner courses can go hang out with Benet. She's here every Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock talking about some aspect of our practitioner program. We also have the beginning of our Spanish language class, our beginner Spanish language class every I think it is let's go ahead and see what day it is. It's going to be beginning on, I can't remember if this is a Tuesday or a Wednesday, but it's going to begin on October 4th at 12 o'clock with Andrea Stone, who is wonderful. She's going to be teaching it for our Spanish language folks, for anybody that you want to refer who may speak Spanish, and that is going to be on a Tuesday, it looks like. So that is on a Tuesday, October 4th at 12 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern. She's going to do that in the format where a Spanish language person can volunteer for a scan. So remember to join her for that. Couple of things, really important. In mid-November, we have our event of the year. In our event of the year, we have people from our community who share their experience. We want you, a Genius practitioner, to volunteer, and we will thank you with our practitioner pack, which is going to include some Quanta capsules, some wristbands, and some other goodies for you. So please volunteer to be part of our Genius event of the year in mid-November, where we're going to feature you, promote you. We're really going to heavily promote the summit outside of our Genius community. We would love to help you grow your Genius practice. So please, even if you're shy, we will coach you, help you. Send me a message, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com, and volunteer for that event of the year in mid-November. We're going to have all of our practitioners sharing all of their experience. And if you're part of our community, you're definitely going to want to watch the event of the year. Of course, it's going to be recorded and we're going to share it. There's no cost to attend. We want to just share it far and wide with as many people as possible. As I mentioned, today is also a day when we're talking about the digestive system. So today we're going to be talking about digestion. We are going to have a study going on, a research project for the digestion. It's not quite ready to launch yet, but you can get the downloads for today at our blog. You go to Genius Biofeedback, you drop down off the Learn menu, and you can see all of our past classes are here. You can go to this one for digestive wellness, and there's both a handout, a guide to the digestive panel, and then there's an ebook on digestion that you can check out. We also have a new Genius community. I'm going to try to link it in just a few moments here. We have a brand new Genius internal exclusive community where you can share ideas. We've been sharing that link on Facebook. If you've seen it, we're going to share it hopefully here as well. See if we can bring that link up, and you can join our exclusive internal community where we're sharing a lot of guides, a lot of information. Also, if you read our weekly email, we're also on Telegram. So if you see our weekly email, you can find us on Telegram. That's a good place to find us and connect with us. Now let's talk a little bit about the update. The update was taken back. We took back the update because there were issues with the database and because the developer did not want people to struggle or suffer as a result. So he took the 16.9.8, or the new update was just sort of reverted back to the original 16.9.7. So we're going to be basically bringing that back as soon as the database is resolved. As soon as issues with the database are resolved, we will bring that back and we will have the new version. Until then, simply, enjoy the older version. Enjoy 16.9.7, or if you're on Android, enjoy that one, and just keep utilizing that particular version for now. And I think you will, really get a lot out of that version, what we've been doing with it so far. A couple of things: when you get a new phone, remember to log out of your Genius. So when you get a new phone, log out of the Genius, and then go ahead, and then you're going to be able to install your new phone. If you do not log out of your Genius when you go to get your phone, then you're not going to be able to log in. You're going to be what we call blocked at the paywall. So make a note right now. Remember, log out, and you do that by tapping that white button at the top left of your screen. When you go to your Genius, you're going to tap it. It's going to log you out, and then it will tell our server system, hey, you're no longer using that access. If you delete the Genius and then just sort of clear your phone, and your phone is completely erased, it doesn't matter. It still says to our server that you're still using that access, and you'll have to contact us and maybe wait overnight for us to manually adjust that access in our servers. So remember to log out whenever you switch to a new device. Okay, here is our new Genius community. So please join this while you're sitting there enjoying the training today. Please join our exclusive Connect community. It's really similar to sort of an internal Facebook group. It's not associated with Facebook at all. There's no censorship. You can join right now and enjoy saying hi to everybody in the Genius community. You can ask questions there. You can see all the guides and education we're providing there. And we're going to be able to touch base with you on a lot more regular basis, a lot more easily than trying to fight through email filters and things like that to tell you when the new version is issued, or hey, use this version or use this link. So be sure to join that link, that community, totally free. Say hi to the people in the Genius community. Right now, I'd love to ask for a volunteer, and I'm going to pretty much talk about digestion and utilizing digestion through either one or a couple of volunteers. So if you'd like to get a scan today, I will need your date of birth. And if you'd like to join us by either video or audio feed, it's up to you, both. We'd love to get your voice and your picture. We're going to do some digestive balancing. I think digestion is one of the most popular things that people utilize the Genius for, including sleep and energy being the other thing. So we're going to talk about digestion by doing an actual scan today. So if you'd like to volunteer, make sure you put your date of birth. Yeah, it's not a Facebook account, it has nothing to do with Facebook. It's like a community similar to Facebook. It's totally censorship free because we control it. And we've got a lot of people, a lot of our community have already joined, but please do join us. We'd love to see you there. Okay, so let me just exit out of here. And so right away, we had a volunteer from Iveta. So Iveta, in order for us to work with you, we'd need your date of birth. So be sure to send your date of birth. if you'd like to volunteer right away. Okay, fantastic. All right, make sure you check your microphone so that we would be able to talk with you when we get your information in. Let's just say that whenever we talk about anything with the Genius that we're working on, we're talking about this a lot in our business class. You can still join our business launchpad by just searching for business launchpad at geniusbiofeedback.com. Really important class for anyone who wants to have a business with their Genius. And we show you how to do it so easily. It's like it's turnkey. Now, in that regard, we actually guide you to talk about everything with the Genius as saying it is a stress disturbance. And what you're actually doing as a Genius practitioner is you're helping to reduce stress in the field. So you are reducing stress in the field for your client. And as their stress is reduced, guess what? Everything else gets better. Their blood pressure gets better. Their heart gets better, their digestion gets better, everything gets better. In addition, you can also focus frequencies on specific issues in the body. So you can focus your frequencies to the stomach. You can focus frequencies to the small intestine. You could focus frequencies to the gallbladder. So many things that you can do with your Genius specifically. You are an energetic director directing the energy with your Genius. So we want to be real specific. That's why we have the practitioner courses. Our practitioner courses focus in areas of natural health. So if you've ever been curious, how does the digestion work? How does the thyroid work? How do your adrenals work? How do your hormones work? That's why we have our practitioner levels. You can actually go right to the deals menu and look at all the practitioner training that we have available. Scroll down and see which practitioner level appeals to you, or do a bundle where you get all of them. Yes, it will help you in your practice, but I can tell you it will help you in your own life, because it will explain to you how all these parts of your systems work and what you can do to keep well and to keep healthy. And that's why a lot of people choose to do the practitioner levels. It's everything I learned as a naturopathic doctor and had the privilege to know and study. And then I distill it down into the simple webinar series where anyone can understand this and utilize it for their own benefit. So definitely check out those practitioner levels. And that is where we really get into the real fine detail about the digestive system, although I'm going to talk a lot about it today. The beautiful thing is once you know that, you know where to direct your energy. Where are you going to focus your frequencies? If you know that there's difficulty with digesting food with fat in it, so fatty foods probably has to do with their gallbladder, then you could direct your frequencies at the gallbladder. So you would run gallbladder frequencies or gallbladder right frequencies, or use gallbladder solutions, which is one of the digestive assessment libraries. So that's how you become a great practitioner, is learning about the physiology of the body and understanding how people are well, understanding some pathology, what the symptoms are when people are not well, and then you can direct the energy to these places. And a lot of our practitioners have become really amazing at doing just that. Okay, warm welcome. Thank you so much for joining today. Really appreciate you being here and being part of our Genius program. Okay, Iveta, I'm going to actually just bring you up here as a panelist, and we're going to ask you to open your audio and your video if you'd like to. Really nice to have all of our friends, longtime users of the Genius, then new users of the Genius. It's nice to see people come back. You know, it's really nice to see Janet and see Janie and Helen joining us from Canada, and Hozumi. Wonderful to have you join us here. So let's go ahead and see how Iveta is doing and see how her digestion is, see if we could possibly get her voice. Hi, Iveta, how are you?
Hello, Ariel. Thank you very much.
How are you joining us from today?
I'm from Prague, Czech Republic.
And thank you for joining us from Prague, from the Czech Republic. How nice. What a beautiful place.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you've been using your Genius?
I'm using it with my family mainly. Still learning, so I'm not ready for customers, but I would like to. So
Do you do some skin stuff as well? What do you do other than the Genius?
I'm sorry.
What else do you do besides the Genius? Did you do some other healing in your practice?
Yes, I do. I do energetic medicine with Amvant, and I am now writing my PhD dissertation. So
Very good.
not
Okay,
much
you know what? The
time.
sound is a little choppy. So let me just make sure I get your voice in your picture. Let's go ahead and record your voice. So I'm going to ask you to say your name and AEIOU in just a moment. I'll count you down here so you can say it in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
AEIOU, Iveta Pechachková. My problem is digestion. For a long time, I have a SIBO.
Okay, very, very good. And we're gonna you know, let's have you do that one again. Let's have you say it in an affirmative statement. And let's say, I am now completely, I am so grateful because I'm completely healed of my SIBO. Would that be okay?
Okay.
All right, let's try it again. In 3, 2, 1, I'm recording.
AEIOU, Iveta Pechachková, and I'm completely healed from my SIBO. Is that nice?
Perfect. Yeah, it's just a new way for you to work with the Genius is even like putting into your intention that you're in the vibration of being completely healed, because why not? You can state any vibration and your intention to move into it. So you could actually speak as if you were in the vibration of being healed from SIBO and see what happens from there, because that's what it all is. There's a vibration that you could resonate at, which would be a vibration where you can no longer hold on to the disease state. So therefore the SIBO has to fall away. Isn't that amazing?
Is it? That's a much better approach.
Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to get your picture here in just a moment. Let me just adjust a few things, and we're going to do this real quickly. Quick smile. Okay, fantastic. Love it. Go ahead and get the picture. What I love about the Genius is you can do this from anywhere. You can work with, we're working with Iveta today in Prague. I mean, how wonderful is that you can work with anyone, anywhere, because the truth is that we are not really separated. This is only an illusion that we're separated by space and time. And technologies like the Genius really showcase the fact that you can do this. The time and space in many ways does not really exist. Okay, now Iveta, tell us a little bit about the symptoms. Somebody obviously has told you maybe that you have SIBO, or you tested yourself on the Genius. What are the symptoms that you're experiencing?
Right now, I'm quite better. Sometimes I have a problem with the reflux, the heartburn.
Okay.
And sometimes I suffer with diarrhea.
Okay.
And I have diagnosed, or just I tested for SIBO 15 years ago. So since that, I changed my diet. So it's much better than before. But time to time, I still suffer with the digestion, different kinds of.
I understand completely. So I love that you asked that we could work on you today. So we're going to look at all of these things for you and look at it, with the consideration that you've already provided, come back and then talk to you a little bit about it. Would that be okay?
Sure, no problem.
All right. Okay. We'll let you sit back and relax and enjoy. Come back and talk with you in a little while. So wonderful. So wonderful that she volunteered, and I really appreciate it. And remember, you can download the handouts for today by going to geniusbiofeedback.com, go to the Learn menu, and then drop down and find our blog. Once you go to the blog, you'll be able to see the information for today, which includes an ebook about healing the digestive system and also includes an excerpt from our mastery guide where you can go and download everything you need to know about the digestive panel. So if you just click here, go down here, and you can get this document right here. And so it tells you a lot of things about the digestive system that are in the mastery guide. All right, well, on that note, let's go ahead and let's look at the things that we usually go through. Let's first look at today's stress. And it tells us that there's something going on with the immune system. Now, 60% of your immune system rests in your, I know you can't guess what I'm going to say, in your digestive system. And that is because an important part of the immune system, the Peyer's patches, is actually in the gut. And part of that reason is because the body is constantly checking for any type of invader, any type of pathogen, and that can come in through the different things that we're exposed to. So food could be one thing that could open the door to being exposed to pathogens. So because we eat food, the body is constantly using our immune system to check for something called self versus non-self. And it's looking non-self. Okay, you've got food. Is anything in the food antigenic? Is there anything in the food that could be found to be a pathogen? And this is why sometimes we have food allergies from an overactive immune system or a very toxic food supply where the body is picking up like, hey, this isn't food that could be assimilated. This is something that could be very concerning to the body. So we're going to attack it with the immune system with antibodies and other parts of the non-specific immune system. So there's a huge part of the immune system in the gut. And it's interesting that she talked about the gut, but within today's stress, the immune system is coming up. And then we've got, wow, immune system again. So urinary, that could be urinary, bladder, kidney. It could even be related to the Chinese medicine issues of the kidneys. So we check all these. We check today's stress body systems. Then we go into organs, glands, digestion. This is called basic process number 1. And I believe that we have basic process number 1 somewhere on the blog, or you can just request basic process number 1 if you don't have it. Okay, now that's interesting for the organs. We've got a lot of organs. So when you see this, brain, bladder, liver, heart, stomach, yes. This may be that her stomach, heart, liver, bladder, brain are all, need some love and some attention and some energy, but it's more likely communicating that there is a pattern going on, a pattern of extreme deficiency. So we're probably in sort of a kidney Jing deficiency, an energetic adrenal deficiency. We need to recalibrate the system with things like reishi and rhodiola and Siberian ginseng and holy basil and ashwagandha. We need to revitalize the system and make sure, Veta, that you're getting lots of exercise, walking, a little bit of yoga every day, also some breathing exercise. We need to rebuild and put back into the gas tank some wonderful nurturing reserves. It's interesting about the skin. So the skin could be acne or psoriasis or eczema, or it could be that the organs of elimination are stopped up and they're not moving. So everything is sort of building up at the level of the skin, trying to push out toxins. So this could be that if we see skin, we could consider things like skin brushing or doing a sauna or sweating a little bit every day is really, really healthy. And sometimes you can even get a personal sauna sent to your home that you just sit in, get a chair and you actually put it around you. But a little bit of sweating every single day is really, really important. So I think this is an overall sign that there is deficiency or depletion. And it's interesting, the brain being the lowest, the bladder being next, and we saw urinary. So for anybody who has any even minor issues, whether it be UTI or any issue with bladder, you want to sort of backtrack to kidney and you want to sort of backtrack to adrenals. And if those two systems are kind of tapped out from the kidney, jing, or adrenal perspective, that can actually lead literally to the bladder issues. And of course, supporting the pelvic floor is important as well. We've got liver, heart, stomach, and the stomach and liver certainly relate to our digestive topic of the day. Let's go ahead and look at the glands. So glands relate more to the endocrine system. Now, this looks like it's in a lot better shape, but look at the top number that we're getting for glands, 500. That, to me, this is you want to look at the overall pattern. There's a definite pattern of deficiency and sort of almost like exhaustion being tapped out. And so that's just something to note about the overall sort of terrain that you're dealing with. Okay, so from there, we actually go to digestion, and it tells us large intestine. We see stomach again. So when you see issues of the stomach, you see, the stomach is really all about hydrochloric acid and massive breaking down of protein in the stomach and activation. The hydrochloric acid has to activate a protein digestive enzyme. And once the protein digestive enzyme is activated, then it can digest chicken and really, really hardcore proteins. Otherwise, they don't get digested properly. Hydrochloric acid is also necessary to be released in the stomach because it kills pathogens. A deficiency of hydrochloric acid is common in anyone after the age of 40. And we recommend taking gentian, bitters, or apple cider vinegar a little bit before a meal in order to prime the pump. Or if it's really weak, then you could take some supplementary betaine hydrochloric acid. Premier Research is a pretty good source, Premier's HCl, and take 1 or 2 after a meal. Sometimes the practitioner even says, take enough of the hydrochloric acid until you feel a little burn in your stomach. So you do want to do that under the care of and guidance of a health practitioner, but you want to get that hydrochloric acid activated. Other ways to get all of these internal organ systems activated is through yoga postures. So the different twisting postures and stretching and compression postures, those all massage the internal organs. That's another way to go about this. But the key to good health overall at the very core is digestive health. And if we allow the digestive health to break down, it is interlocking with every other system and ultimately will give in and lead to breakdowns of other systems. So we want to keep that digestion working well. We have to take in food and then we have to turn it into chi, into prana. So in between, we have to break it down. We have to assimilate it. We have to eliminate what is not needed anymore. And so it also tells us large intestine. So that's the eliminative part of the digestive system. It tells us the liver. The liver, of course, detoxifies and brings us bile, which helps to break down fat. Now, somebody asked a question here, very actually common question about energetic medicine in the Genius. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was Lori. If your gallbladder was removed, would you direct the energy to the liver since it makes the bile? So yes, the liver makes the bile, the gallbladder stores the bile. We never want to lose any organs if possible. And there's so many things that you could do before the gallbladder has to be removed. If it is removed, then yes, there's a little duct, the hepatopancreatic duct, the hepatic duct, which goes from the liver to the gallbladder. That becomes sort of like a mini gallbladder, a mini backup, or a mini storage. But yes, you would direct all of your energy at the liver instead of the gallbladder, but also frequencies for fat digestion and for maximum use of bile, things like that would be really helpful. Now, the whole digestive system is just one long tube from the mouth all the way to the anus. It's amazing. It's mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and then everything that is not needed, that is eliminated. And then it's really incredible because along this very, very long and complicated tube is just different types of surfaces and secretions for digestion and different pHs, sometimes high pH in this, or we call low pH or acidic pH in the stomach, or very high pH in the small intestine where it becomes more alkaline. Studying the digestion is absolutely fascinating, gives you the information that you need to know to take care of yourself. And we do cover that in the practitioner level. I believe it's practitioner level 3 or 4. You can take any practitioner level on its own and learn more about the digestive system, for example. Okay, let's go ahead and look at flower essences because we always include those. Those are going to be in the mind section. So here we always include those. So walnut and hornbeam, water violet being a little bit more internal, more introvert is kind of water violet. Gentian is interesting about the digestive system. Crabapple is feeling like needing to do a cleanse. And so it may just be, in fact, time. Fall is a really good time to do a cleanse. And walnut is related to that as well. Walnut is all about transitions. So times of transition. So helping us through transition. Let's go to some of the libraries related. We have a lot of libraries related to the digestive system. So when we look at the stomach, things that we might be thinking about with the stomach might be an H. pylori infection. And it's a little bit to know which came first, the chicken or the egg in this particular instance. But if stomach acid is low for a long time, which is very common because of things that cause low stomach acid would be poor nutrition, not enough zinc, but also just eating on the go, lots of stress. We need to rest and digest. When we want to have good digestion, we need to take the time to really eat the food, not at our work, not at our computer, not doing other things, not in the car. And when we rest and prepare our food, we prepare it with loved ones and we sit down at the table, it gives time for all of the digestive juices to start flowing, all of the enzymes, all of the hydrochloric acid. And when we don't, when we're just running around, chicken with a head cut off, so stressed out, then the body does not secrete all of those wonderful digestive juices. And so we don't digest our food very well. And so it's really important to take the time to do that. In the case of low stomach acid, it allows pathogens in. And one of the pathogens could be something called Helicobacter pylori. And a chronic H. pylori infection, it thrives in a low acid stomach environment. And that can lead to bloating and discomfort. So that could be it. It could also be in the small intestine where she mentioned SIBO, but it could also be leaky gut. So it could be at different junctures in the intestine. The best thing to do is we have our 21-day detox is to take a break, clean up your diet, get some enzymes, some stomach acid, really take the time to rest your body and reset your digestive system, allow it to heal, and then a lot of problems seem to get better. So let's go ahead and let's look at a few things here related to digestion. Let's first look at some of the digestive assessments that we have here. So we have a general assessment for digestion, which is right here. And this is diverticulitis, Helicobacter pylori, candida, low stomach acid, and GMO exposure. So this is exactly what I talked about, so common that when you see the low stomach acid, you also see that Helicobacter pylori. So for this, we probably want to get the stomach acid back on track. We're going to look at some solutions. Now, diverticulitis is very common. First comes diverticulosis. This has to do with the large intestine. There's these different venous structures within the large intestine itself. And when we are sort of straining and we don't have enough fiber in the diet, that it causes a little outpouching in the large intestine, and that is called diverticulosis. When undigested food and so forth gets into those pockets, sounds awful, they can actually cause an inflammation called diverticulitis. This may not be active. When it's active, you know it. The solution is to eat certain foods that can soothe the digestive tract, get some good enzymes, gut bacteria, and lots of good fiber into the system. There are herbs that you can take for Helicobacter pylori. Candida is interesting when you've had sluggish digestion for a while. Yes, Candida is the composting mechanism that comes up to clean everything up. So we want to clean up and in this case, we really need to clean up and strengthen the digestive system. Okay, GMO exposure is something that's sort of universal. Everybody gets exposed here and there to GMO. We need to alkalize the system. Protease enzyme deficiency. So protease enzyme, proteolytic enzymes help to break down protein. If in the stomach we have low stomach acid, we eat a piece of chicken, that chicken is not going to get digested as it should in the stomach, and it's going to go into the small intestine. They're going to keep trying to digest it. It's going to really be hard to completely digest that food without good stomach acid. If you don't start anywhere else, start learning how to activate that stomach acid. We even have a stomach acid library. If you search on geniusbiofeedback.com, it may give you some hints about things that you could do to strengthen that stomach acid, like gentian bitters, betaine HCl, apple cider vinegar, and things like that. Okay, sympathetic dominance means more time to, we need more time to rest and digest. It actually does say SIBO right there at number 600. Isn't that interesting that she mentioned that? Go down here and we've got emotional root cause. So something emotional, emotions and the digestive system just go hand in hand. I mean, when you don't feel something right, you can feel it in your gut. When you don't feel good, when you feel nervous, you feel it in your gut. So if you are having any type of emotional fear, anxiety, panic, it's absolutely going to affect your digestive system. And certainly if that's ongoing, then it affects it long term. Dysbiosis is a disruption in the proper bacteria. This is more commonly related to the large intestine. And so we take probiotics or we take prebiotic foods. We basically eat lots of fruits and vegetables in order to promote a healthy terrain or gut bacteria. Eating fermented foods, fermented vegetables, krauts, fermented beets, kvass, things like that is helpful. You could also take a good high quality probiotic from time to time, maybe at the change of the weather, the change of the seasons. You could take probiotics for a week or two, or after a round of antibiotics, or eat lots of fermented foods that have healthy gut bacteria. Poor mineral absorption, well, we're not surprised to see that without that healthy hydrochloric acid, we're also not going to absorb our minerals as well as we could. This is an interesting panel. So bile salts are low, so that's going to lead to the gallbladder not being as healthy as it could be to break down fat, but also says glyphosate residue, which goes hand in hand with what we saw in the GMO residue. Yeast is sort of similar to what we saw with the candida. And see, the bile sluggish kind of relates to the bile salts being low. It's interesting how they can all sort of line up together. Let's go to digestive disturbance number 3 and go to solutions. Garlic. So the garlic could be a good antimicrobial for the gut, and it may even help with that H. pylori. Sodium bicarbonate to alkalize the system. Zeolite to help with any type of toxins that you're being exposed to. Cinnamon, that's interesting to kind of warm up the system, to help with blood sugar, to help with digestion. It's a good antioxidant. Proteolytic enzymes. So you take proteolytic enzymes on a regular basis for a while to clean everything up. A lot of the things in the body that build up, right, they're made of protein. So taking proteolytic enzymes helps to break them down so you can eliminate any metabolic waste. Ginger and beet powder. Beet powder is good for methylation, for detoxification. And ginger just helps the digestive system in general. It's a very good herb for helping to tone up the digestive system. So getting some ginger root and just grating it and making some tea, maybe with a little bit of honey, that's really, really good. Drinking ginger throughout the day, especially as the weather cools, is good for warming up the digestive system. In general, during cooler weather, you want to have warming foods and warming herbs. You want to keep the digestion healthy. So when it's hot, it's more cooling foods like cucumber and watermelon, but then those stop in the cooler weather, and then we have warming foods and warming herbs, and you want to eat the food prepared warm as well, cooked food really during the cooler weather. Let's look at a few other things related to digestion. Let's look at that gallbladder assessment, right? And so a few things related to the gallbladder, actually produce bile more efficiently. There are a couple other things to look at related to digestion for her, and I'm just trying to think of what would be the best thing to look at from this. Let's look at the digestive calming and maximize energy from nutrition program. Oh, wow. Proteolytic enzyme just comes through with every library that we've looked at. A proteolytic enzyme is something like serrapeptase is a good example. Consciously blessing the food with love and appreciation. The interesting thing is if you take time to just stop and bless your food and pray over it, and also you could put it on your remedy plate and run 528 or all sorts of digestive frequencies into your food before you eat it, right? Only take 5 minutes to do that. But stopping and praying, it's another reset for your body that allows it to take the time to produce all the hydrochloric acid and enzymes to digest your food. Constipation easily flows, and that which is not needed leaves with regularity, 776 hertz. We actually do have a constipation library, since that can be an issue for people. And we'll look at the SIBO library as well. The ileocecal valve creates the proper position for maximum health and happiness. So when the ileocecal valve, right, which is at that lower right part, connecting the small intestine to the large intestine, when that valve stays open, it can lead to lots of issues. And you can go onto YouTube and look for ileocecal valve adjustment, and you can actually do that adjustment on yourself. Pancreatic islet cell, stem cell activation. So we need some energy, maybe some enzymes. That's actually for blood sugar. Every cell drinks in needed nutrition with ease and joy. There's probably a lot of cells that don't get the proper nutrition, that don't assimilate all because of our small intestine, because of the absorptive capacity of our small intestine being impaired by leaky gut. So we'll look at that as well. That's actually some good libraries to look at. All right, let's get these libraries in there. My energy is high and my vitality strong as I derive all I need from my food. There's a lot of libraries in here coming up that are about poor assimilation. She's not digesting her food as completely as she could. And so she's not getting all the wonderful things that she could from the food in order to give her energy. So a couple of things that just came up for us to look at would be leaky gut assessment. Let's look at that one. Hello. Okay, food intolerances are causative. So something, she says she changed her diet. There still may be some foods that she's not tolerating well. Intestinal barrier compromised. So between the small intestine and the bloodstream, there's a barrier. And when we get stressed, or when we eat foods that we're allergic to, this wonderful barrier, which it has tight junctions that keeps the food where it's supposed to be and keeps the blood separated, these tight junctions open up and the protein can flow through those tight junctions. And then it leads to all types of inflammatory reactions because the blood says, oh my goodness, how did all these proteins get in here? This looks like a bunch of bacteria or pathogens, and then the immune system attacks those in the bloodstream. This is a phenomenon called leaky gut syndrome. So something about that intestinal barrier became compromised. Good things to help that intestinal barrier would be things like glutamine. So glutamine is excellent for nourishing and healing those enterocytes, as well as an anti-inflammatory diet, right? Rest and digest meditation. So maybe some good yoga postures for the digestive system. The lymphatic system, alcohol consumption. Now, when you see this, it may not be actual alcohol consumption. It may be due to the candida in the gut producing something called acetaldehyde. So sometimes we'll see this and somebody will say, I do not drink a drop. And it may be because of the gut, the terrain of the gut itself. Let's go down to the lower part here, inflammation. So we definitely see the preponderance of emotional stress, something going on with the emotions, tight junctions compromised. Okay, let's look at leaky gut solutions. Turmeric or curcumin, quercetin to stabilize the immune system, zinc carnosine. Zinc will help us to make hydrochloric acid. Now, we also said we were going to look at the constipation, not necessarily for her, but just for good measure. Let's go ahead. We have a really good series in here, constipation relief assessment. And so it says insoluble fiber deficiency, dysbiosis, diverticulitis, hemorrhoids. So the biggest issue here is really more fruits and vegetables into the diet as much as we can. That's really important. Or maybe some type of a temporary fiber supplement, maybe pea fiber or pectin. Pectin might be really good. Sometimes psyllium is very poorly tolerated by people, but there are other mixes of, I think it's the soluble fiber, and that can be something like pectin, can be really well tolerated. And when people drink it or take it, they're like, oh, that feels better. Sometimes they feel very inflamed for whatever reason from taking the drinks of psyllium and so forth. Constipation relief solutions, strengthen the abdominal muscles. You guys all know now about the squatty potty has become so popular. Years ago, it was called the well step. Only people in natural health on the fringes like us knew about it. It was called the well step. And then this really brilliant person decided to take it mainstream and brought on Shark Tank. And it's a step, as you probably well know, that goes right in front of the toilet. And it causes you to because you step on it, you sort of move into a squatting position. And that is the best for releasing and allowing the large intestine to do its job properly, because you position the body in a certain way. And so it's interesting, strengthen the abdominal muscles suggests that also the squatting may help with that release. Bifidobacterium, a lot of themes today. Wow, you can't make this up. Look at that apple pectin right there. A lot of themes today about the gut bacteria. So if you're a practitioner and you have several different libraries, digestion, leaky gut, digestive disturbance, what you want to do is you want to test all of them, because you begin to see the common themes, and there's no accident. Those are coming up over and over again. You can't make that up. You can't magically create it. It's coming up over and over again consistently for a reason, because it is accurate and true, which is amazing. And so the terrain, the need for good gut bacteria comes up again and again today in this particular session. Balance the lung meridian. Let's look at the lung meridian in a while. Lung is paired with large intestine. So the person's constipated is affecting their lungs. If they have respiratory issues, it's affecting their large intestine. They're reciprocal and they affect each other. Improve your lung capacity. It actually can improve your ability to release from the large intestine, which is amazing. So apple pectin, I just mentioned it, came up. Cascara sagrada. Now, Cascara sagrada helps you, things like colon broom and all these things that they advertise like on Instagram. That's probably a lot of psyllium. And sometimes it's good to take a purgative like Cascara for a short amount of time to reset the colon. We just don't want to take it every day because we could become dependent on it. Cascara sagrada is very good for short term. The senna, which kind of does the same thing, is going to tend to be more addictive. But Cascara is good for your cleansing programs. We want to sort of allow the large intestine to be a bit more active and actively release, sort of to get back in, sort of reset it and allow it to do what it does best. Grief can also live in our lungs, and so it may be related to large intestine issues. So releasing grief. Magnesium citrate can be good if you know the CALM, C-A-L-M product. That can be very good for constipation as well, because all that magnesium citrate actually pulls water into the large intestine, allows good bowel movement. All right, so one more thing, of course, let's just look at SIBO itself. So we have a SIBO panel. So the SIBO assessment. So this is things related to, I won't go into this too much. There's a whole course that we can do on SIBO if that's something people are interested in. I believe we mention it in our digestive practitioner course, and it gives some of the remedies that are recommended for SIBO here. The specific carbohydrate diet being one of them. Again, not going to go into it too much at the moment. Final things, let's see. Let's just do adaptogens and let's do meridians. So let's just see adaptogens, because she's really depleted. So it tells us in the adaptogen panel, this is available at geniusbiofeedback.com if you want to know the best adaptogen for yourself. And licorice. Licorice is low cortisol when we're really very, very burned out. Licorice. Ashwagandha, excellent for the adrenals and excellent for the immune system. So the 3 top adaptogens for her today: licorice, ashwagandha, and Siberian ginseng. Okay, now, so we have the adaptogens, and we're going to just look at the meridians because we just want to see about the lung meridian. It doesn't really show up as anything significant, but let's go ahead and let's tap on it anyway. And let's just grab at least one, see if there's any significant meaning to that lung meridian. Just as chest pain, shoulder and back pain. And then the paired one is large intestine. So let's see, large intestine. Let's just get these top points from here. And let's go ahead and get the whole meridian as well. Okay, we've got 80 items. Let's go to Progressive Insights. Let's see what is the top item, and then we'll get to some of your comments in the chat. Wow, out of all the things that we tested today, cinnamon is the #1 thing that came up for her. Isn't that interesting? So cinnamon will help with blood sugar. It's a great antioxidant. There's something about cinnamon that her whole system is drawn to. That's really fascinating. Garlic for the antimicrobial effects, I believe, anti-parasitic effects. SIBO itself comes up really high. It's still very active in her field. The stomach itself. So I think a lot of the digestive issues do rest in the stomach and probably related to low stomach acid. Ashwagandha is going to help the immune system and the adrenals. So it has like sort of a dual role, helps the hormonal system. Gentian, remember, that's going to be like the bitters to help with the digestion, but it's actually coming up as a flower essence at the very, very top. So gentian is discouragement after a setback, moving through grief into a higher and brighter reality. I'm reading from the desk reference success cards. You want to really keep those with you when you're doing sessions, so you can just read those meanings right to your client while you're doing, if you're doing a live session, or maybe include it in a little report that you're going to do for them. Let's go ahead and run this for a minute. We've got liver, urinary, immune, protease enzyme deficiency. Again, parotid gland is going to be the salivary glands, and those produce a lot of enzymes for digestion. And so it's asking for this for the stem cells for some reason to help with that saliva release. Hornbeam is tiredness at the thought of doing anything, just exhaustion. Hornbeam is exhaustion, and that really showed up in the digestive, what was it, the organs panel that we did, where we saw all that depletion, all that blue in that particular panel. Let's see some of your questions here. May I have the link to the Digestion Mastery Guide? Go to geniusbiofeedback.com, go to the Learn menu, drop down to the blog, and you'll see always you will see all the documents that we're sharing for today. So we don't have to put them into the chat. You don't have to get a headache looking for them. Just go to geniusbiofeedback.com, go to the blog, then go to Learn. Sorry, go to geniusbiofeedback.com, go to Learn, drop down the menu, go to the blog, and then you will see it there. And that's always good to check the blog and see what's new on the blog as well. All right, I would love to purchase the Genius. So Sarah, get in touch with me personally, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com. I'll even call you right after class to talk with you about all of the things that we're doing here and what we can do to help you with installments and things like that. Would you recommend taking proteolytic enzymes on an empty stomach? Sometimes people just slide their own knowledge base into the question. I get your gist there, Yelena. Wink, wink. Yes, it's absolutely good to take proteolytic enzymes on an empty stomach, because if you take them with food, they will first digest the food. So by taking them on an empty stomach or about an hour away from food, it will work more on the waste, like cleaning up any of the metabolic waste that has built up, or the pathogens or even parasites that have built up in the body. So taking about empty stomach, about an hour away from eating food. If you take it with food, it'll do a fabulous job at digesting the current food that you're eating, but that may not be your goal. Again, a lot of things I talk about here, either you're going to take full responsibility to research it yourself, or see a naturopathic doctor or a nutritionist or an acupuncturist to help that person to be your guide in conjunction with what you're doing. Now, it's interesting, on the rescan, licorice came up. Licorice is really good for chronic viruses, also good in the case where you're so depleted, you're so tired. If you take licorice, now, this is not for people with high blood pressure, so just be aware or ask your health practitioner. But licorice is good when your cortisol is just completely gone. And so if you start taking it in the morning, it'll start to build back your own ability to produce cortisol. And hornbeam is really about being exhausted. So that's interesting that they go hand in hand. Walnut is about transitions. And there's that Helicobacter pylori. So especially if you go and look at Apex Energetics, and we have a lot of Apex Energetics libraries, if you look at Apex Energetics, they have a really good supplement for H. pylori that you can take. All right. So, okay, now DGL, you have to be careful. DGL is being taken specifically for, that is deglycerized licorice, does not have the same effect, interestingly enough, for cortisol. Strangely enough, DGL is good for, it's a panel we didn't look at, we could look at right now, is for reflux or leaky gut. So DGL is good and good for, good for reflux. So DGL is not going to have that same effect, interestingly enough, as the glycyrrhiza, the actual licorice. So tight junctions compromised, definitely leaky gut in there somewhere. Water violet is sort of that ultimate introvert. A lot of our healer community is very water violet energy. Finding comfort in independence and self-sufficiency, and coming out of sort of being all in our head and the higher chakras, and sort of enjoying just being present in the body. We got to 21% rectification. We would often bounce for another minute. Let's just go ahead and do one more rescan to see if we what we come up with. If you're looking for digestive enzymes, just digestive enzymes in general, I definitely rely on a Premier Research Labs. They're sort of just always reliable, and you could just get Premier Digest. You get Premier's HCl for stomach acid. And if you're looking for proteolytic enzymes, you can go to look at US Enzymes. This is another really good company, and I believe they have a proteolytic line. So we're not really here to give specific, recommendations. You can look on the website. We really don't sell supplements. We're just trying to give you the flavor, the idea. But you could go to US Enzymes and look for some proteolytic enzymes. That's a pretty good company, US Enzymes, and also Premier Research Labs. Those are two solid companies for supplements, and you can research and find the best one. It's interesting that diverticulitis came up again. Gentian, that's that flower essence, parotid gland stem cells, deriving the maximum vital energy force from food. Once again, we're not really breaking down or utilizing the food to the maximum capacity that we could. Let's go ahead and let's go back to our aura and see how the aura has changed. So here's the aura right here. Let's go ahead and look at it. Let's see how it has changed, and let's bring back our wonderful Iveta. So Iveta, I'm going to ask you to join us again and tell us what your impression has been during the time that we've been working on you, testing you. Well, how has the information landed with you? What are your thoughts?
Thank you. I'm quite surprised how many things, but yes, everything comes to me like real. If I go to allopathic doctor, I won't leave the hospital, I guess. So I definitely thank you for such a discussion and showing me how to work with the Genius, but also with all the information you gave up. Perfect. I will definitely have some proteolytic enzymes and increase the HCl.
Yes, I think that'll be very helpful. I think that'll be wonderful, even if it's just with hydrochloric acid or some gentian, some bitters before you eat. I think it'll make a tremendous difference. And it's sometimes just the most gentle non-toxic remedies and frequencies that we have that can make the biggest profound difference in our digestion and in our lives.
Thank you so much. Very interesting.
Thank you, Iveta. Thank you so much.
I bought garlic yesterday and ginseng as well. So you
that
see
is amazing. That is amazing. You tapped in, you're tapping in, and also like predictive programming. You knew what we were going to do today. That's absolutely amazing. Now, Iveta, do you have a Quanta capsule?
Yes, I think I do.
Well, while we're sort of winding things up here, why don't you go sort of search around and see if you have it activated, and either in the chat or to my email quickly send me your email address associated with that capsule, and I'll send these frequencies to your capsule.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Okay, Iveta, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that was a really fun scan to do and to look at. So thank you so much for volunteering. I really, really appreciate it so very much. So we put a link into the chat of our new community, and that is our new exclusive community that you can join. It's called Genius Biofeedback Connect. Maybe somebody can repost that link while I sort of search around for it. That link takes you to our new internal community, and if you're able to join, then you can find out everything that we're doing, get the latest information, the latest specials, everything exclusive that's coming up, and anyone can join. Even if you're not a Genius owner, you can join and check out what we're doing in the community. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Okay, Genius Biofeedback Connect. So we're going to copy it and paste it. Just give me a second to set this up. Okay, so check out the chat. In the chat, you're going to see that link. Just click on the link, and then anybody can join that, and you can just share information and communicate with our other folks. Oops, I don't know why I'm just going to mute you there, Iveta. So just communicate with other people, make friends, share information, see what the latest things. And when you're part of that community, you'll be able to know, hey, we uploaded the latest version. This is what's happening. We're going to go live to talk about this new version, and you'll get that notification right in the community. From the community, it'll notify you in your email if we go live, things like that. All right. So, so what we did today is we talked all about the digestive system. You can go to geniusbiofeedback.com, go to the Learn menu, drop down to the blog, and you can get all the handouts from today. After this session is over, you can watch this session replay on our YouTube. So go to YouTube and then just type in Ariel Policano, subscribe to the channel so you can get the latest updates there as well. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your questions, your great chat questions. I appreciate you. If we didn't answer them or you have other questions, then please go to Ariel@geniusbiofeedback.com. Send me your question. What do you need help with? And we'll be back next week with a training on detox. So if you would like to know about detox, in the fall is an excellent time to detox, all about using detox frequencies with your Genius. Join us next week for next week's Genius Weekly training. Invite anyone who would like to join in. Please volunteer for the event of the year. If you've done anything with your Genius that you could share with us and give a testimonial, send me a message and say, I'd like to be a guest on the Genius event of the year, and receive from us our practitioner thank you pack with Quanta capsules, bands, things for your practice. You're going to love it, and we appreciate you volunteering. Have a great day, everyone. Take care. Be well. Bye-bye for now.